Here we are again.
Yo. I got people asking me why we're late.
Why we're late?
Yeah, why we're late.
Okay, I will explain why I'm late.
Go ahead. Explain.
I have a Diet Coke dependency issue, specifically Sonic, specifically Route 44 sodas, and I've actually been very good about it. And when I went to go get my soda before, I put it down on the counter in the console and managed to knock it over.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
At 6:59.
Yes.
So what are we doing tonight? Who are we?
Power and Speed.
Yeah, we are.
And where can they find us, Tom?
They can call in at 908-751-0211, and I think they should also probably like us on Facebook. There you go. Thanks, Dad.
You know, I can bring up one point.
Go.
Where was our imminent, the sound of an imminent moron coming? Would have been a perfect thing to start this show with.
I can't do that. I can't hate on those guys.
Yeah, how do you hate on them? And then this is going to be the Subaru show.
Because that's Mike's whole life.
Come on, Todd.
Hater.
Yes.
And first off, God forbid we have any kind of buzzkill for you over there.
Well,
I mean, you should be sitting on a plastic mat.
I think he is.
Yeah. I mean,
I just spilled my ice everywhere.
Yeah, well, at least mine was from a cup. All right. So, I mean, we have your hero on tonight.
My hero?
Yeah, Junior.
Oh, I thought it was Al.
And you talk about Junior constantly, and finally you get to talk to him.
Does he know about that poster in your bedroom?
Oh, God. So, yeah, we're going to have Junior from JRTuned.
Yeah,
and,
we are.
Also, JJ from AIG is going to call on it. IAG.
Yeah. Okay. There goes that sponsorship.
I'm a little befuddled because of my soda.
Yeah.
Not only that, I lost a good portion of it.
Yeah.
So he's going to be calling in.
It was only ice.
Yeah, it was mostly ice.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be pretty good. And actually, Jeff, I did not know, Jeff the fireman, was knocking at my back door. I didn't even know you were coming.
Howdy.
How you doing, buddy?
All right.
You've been working on your Impala, right?
Impala. It's not an Impala.
Well, what is it? SS they call it now, right?
Yeah, it's an SS.
Chevy SS, yes.
Yeah. And blower, you got all kinds of big plans for this thing.
Yes.
But we're going to follow that as Jeff moves forward because he's probably going to be done way before I'm done with my Corvette.
Yep.
Although I almost derailed the Corvette plans when I found the 818 from Factory 5.
Yeah. Yeah. You texted me the picture and we kind of flipped over that thing. Really cool car. Tad, you know a little bit about those things, right? Factory 5 kits.
The other thing I couldn't figure out is when I was looking closer at the transmission, the engine that they're showing has a twin turbo setup on it.
On the Subaru deal?
Yeah, because it's got a turbo on the left-hand side and a downpipe on the right-hand side, too.
Okay.
When you look at it.
I didn't pay that much attention to it.
I didn't either. I got off it because, Mike and I were talking about it. I was driving somewhere and, cool car. It's light. 818 is the name is because it weighs 818 kg. Yeah, so it's 1,800 pounds.
And the first thing that I thought was so cool about that, I'm thinking Koenigsegg 1.
Yeah, 1-to-1.
And I know you guys talk about a Subaru making 800 horsepower. I'm like,
there you go.
For what was the car kit price?
Like the kit's $9,500.
Yeah, it's like $10,000.
Yeah.
And I think the coupe is a little more.
Yeah, it might be.
But I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Yeah, you get a donor, you get a motor. You got to be in this thing for less than 20 for a real good one.
Right.
Yeah. But
then the wheels fell off the wagon.
So I call him up, and because we're not 21 years old, we got to have some comfort.
No air conditioning.
Yeah, I call him up. I'm like, well, can you get air conditioning? Oh no, we're working on that.
Then it's a race car.
It's
no. Stop. See, that's the thing. But it's not a race car,
right?
Because they have race car type versions of that.
Yes.
But this coupe was like a street car.
Yeah.
I mean, So continue, Tom, because I know you actually called them twice.
I did. So we got past the air conditioning thing because they actually are doing an air conditioning deal that's going to retro back to car number 1. They design everything in CAD so it'd just be backward compatible. So then I don't know why I asked them.
Well, no, because I read it. It said you have to use a WRX motor.
That's right.
And I'll go on record for all the Subaru guys listening. I am not the Subaru guy.
Right.
I don't know a lot about these things. So I said, Tom, I thought they were kind of all the same.
Right. So he says, I call up and he's like, yeah, you got to use WRX stuff. And I said, well, what about the 6-speed? He's like, yeah, the 6-speed would work, but you have to use the WRX controller. And I was like, well,
doesn't have one.
Well, yeah. I mean, why? And he's like, because the 6-speed won't work. because, and I'm like, well, what won't work about it? He says, well, there's no all-wheel drive. And I went, what? Well, and he's like, yeah, you have to shut off the all-wheel drive. I'm like, okay, well, number one, that's crazy. Why didn't you make it all-wheel drive?
That little fact got past me. When I was looking at this car and they're saying, look, you need a donor Subaru, you need this, you need that. I figured,
I know. We were talking about buying two of them.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even saying 800 horsepower. I'm saying like 600 horsepower, all-wheel drive, 1,800 pounds. It'll be fun as hell.
I was right to 800 or better.
Yeah, I know you were, because that's you.
I wanted to make a 7-liter one if I could. I mean, whatever it took.
So I got stung by the no all-wheel drive, and then I got stung kind of by the ineptitude. I shouldn't be hating on these guys, but, of the, he didn't know about DCCD. Didn't know what it was. I mean, they have a kit car, a Subaru kit car, and they don't know what that is. Bottom line is, it's not all-wheel drive. The 6-speed does fit. There's no air conditioning, and that was enough deal breaker for us to move on.
Well, then Mike was asking me how big the differential is in the transmission, and at that point, I never even.
Yeah, my wheels started going. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, look, because see, here's the other problem with this thing, is that they said that it makes, like it drives off. I guess it would be considered the front section.
Yeah, the transaxle.
But in a Subaru, and again, forgive me, Subaru people, that I don't know as much about these things. I probably should. Is the front end driving section strong enough to be able to put a lot of power just through the front end?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because you're putting it in the rear now, so.
We can talk. We can ask JJ that.
Because we've talked about this with the half-mile crap.
Yeah.
You got to have all-wheel drive. Well, when the car leaves, it's a fact of life that the weight's going to go backwards.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I've seen enough pictures of the all-wheel drive stuff picking the front tires up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at CJ's car, the one, we're going to talk about tonight, that thing was leaving hard on the rear.
Oh, yeah.
And I've spent a fair amount of time looking at the Factory 5 stuff. And I think we've had this discussion. We haven't had it on here. But neat stuff.
Their supercar deal's pretty cool, but there's like a bunch of mistakes they made with that, too. They didn't call us.
No, but I mean, it still looks like a kit car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. But for the money, I mean, you're not going to get, a Koenigsegg. You're just not going to get it for 20,000 or 30,000, whatever they call. I don't even know what supercar costs.
One could hope, couldn't you? I mean, I know it wasn't going to be.
No, you could hope, but
a Koenigsegg. But I mean, a 1-to-1, power to weight, kilogram to horsepower would be.
I wonder if we could buy one and take it to Teo or something and have them do the fucking all-wheel drive thing.
I don't know. Well, that's Tad and I. That's what we were talking about, because the front, you're driving off the front, so now the output shafts. And I was asking Tad all kinds of questions that he couldn't answer, so one of these guys could.
Oh, that's right. Because the motor's in the back.
Right.
Yeah.
So now is the output shaft for the rear axial? Is it in line with the crankshaft?
Yeah.
And the differential is off, like hanging to the side? Or,
yeah.
See what I mean? There's so many. You could, flip it all around. Maybe I don't know. But it's just a shame. I mean, you're doing something from scratch.
Yeah.
I would have rather had the motor be in the front.
Yeah.
And have it be what it is.
Yeah, because you could have a boxer low in the front of the car, low and close to the firewall anyway.
I agree.
I mean, it'd probably be a cool car. Maybe we're making too much of it, but then the real deal breaker for Mike is you can only put a 255 tire on the thing.
Oh yeah, that sucked.
I mean, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Look, the guys at Factory Failure, 5, should realize that if you're going to build a car, nobody says, well, I think for the balance and for the aspect ratio and we need a little tire. No, look at a Porsche 911 with a big ass fucking tire.
Well,
under
a Porsche 930,
flares.
a rough 930 with those huge flares but then will the Subaru bearings withstand that?
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. But I think there's probably so many aftermarket parts for that. You could make it better. But these are design changes. Okay, the 4-wheel drive side, forget about it. That's a project. Adding all the, and obviously relocating the motor or trans swap, whatever. But the cosmetics, what? You make the body a little wider, so it'll accommodate a bigger tire.
I know.
That was all kind of no-brainer to me.
Well, on your all-wheel drive thing, you luckily have the connection with a guy with AutoCAD.
Oh yeah,
on his Windows 98 computer, he can design you something to replace.
Yeah, so by like 2340, he'd have something done.
But
who's got AutoCAD?
That was Alan.
Oh boy! Oh, jeez.
Come on, I'm not going to toll on Alan.
No, we can't be. Not that car wouldn't get done in this millennium.
So we have who's calling in first?
JJ.
JJ's going to be calling in.
Yeah, he's going to be any second. I would think.
Well, I'll keep an eye on the phones to see when he is calling in, and then Junior's going to call. I guess after that, do you have like a time scheduled? You set this up.
Yeah, I was talking to him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to be like 7:30ish.
Yeah, JJ was real good guest.
Yeah.
He was a real good guest, and could certainly answer a lot of things for me. Like I still feel like a dork about the air oil separator. Well, it takes oil out of air. Yeah, I just didn't get it. Like, why would a Subaru have that?
Yeah,
just one of those things.
Yeah, Junior just he's on the dyno right now.
Is he?
I gave him his
easy, Todd.
Easy.
Well, where's he at?
Easy, big dog.
Is he out of state as usual, or?
Yeah, he's in Chicago. He's
Right.
at P&L, I guess.
Yeah, Tad. If people haven't listened, they don't understand that this is Tad's hero. I mean, Tom makes fun of me for following Adam Carolla, but this is every 5 minutes. All we hear about is Junior.
Yeah.
And I remember he had heard. I think it was the last time JJ was on. We posted the link, and he wrote, "Tad, is that you?" LOL.
Yeah.
You definitely tend to leave a lasting impression.
Damn right.
A mark, if you will.
I'm that popular.
So what else we got?
Nothing that I could bring up that I.
Where's Crunch?
James was going to call in, and I did see a call come up, but I wasn't looking at the screen, so he was going to call, and he was away. And he has it's a birthday party or something tonight that he kind of can't get out of. It was like last minute thing.
Yeah, one of those things.
And family does kind of have to come first.
Yep,
I got no problem with that. So.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I know he was listening. I sent him the Mixler link. So the only thing is, Crunch, if you're listening, buddy, if you call in after JJ's on, and then Junior's going to call, it'd have to be towards the tail end of the show. But, whatever, just call in and I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. So what do you got, Tad?
There's no Junior.
Oh, my God.
He's locked up. I mean, he's used.
You're starstruck, aren't you? You're starstruck.
No, I just didn't. I thought that we were starting with him.
All right. This is probably Crunch. Hang on a second. Yo, Crunch, you there?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's happening, Crunch?
Hey, we sound really good on Mixler. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we never get to listen to it on Mixler. So I kind of did the best I could, like playing something back and then listening to the tracks to make sure it was mixed reasonably.
Yep.
So
Right. Yeah, it sounds really good. What's going on, fellas?
not much. I didn't know Jeff showed up in here, so Jeff's actually sitting in today.
Hey.
Oh,
So
okay.
Your seat's not vacant.
It's cool.
I told Jeff, be careful sitting this close to Tad for this particular guest.
Told him to put a condom on the mic.
Oh. Hey now.
Yeah. I had a good weekend. I went to Fayetteville drag strip, saw a lot of grudge racing for cash. So props to Joe Gray and Larry T for that event. And got back to New Jersey on Sunday with 31-degree weather to find out that Andy Harris, who we call Flex, he's called in a couple times, hit the wall with his pickup truck.
Ooh.
Yeah, so.
And that's a pretty fast ride. I mean, without saying anything, that's a pretty fast ride.
Yeah, small block, all motor. He's known all over for the White Lightning Mustang. He broke a couple ribs and his foot. He just called me about 10 minutes ago and said he found out he broke his foot too.
No, jeez. Well, we all wish him the best.
Yeah, wish him well.
Yes. So other than that, a lot of racing this weekend. I was the judge for the rib contest. So
Shocking.
that was, it wasn't bad. I didn't have to spend money on food, so it was good. It was a good trip out of town. Made it home safely. Everything was good.
Tad, when is the Subaru event at Englishtown?
Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday. So, Crunch, I don't know what you got going on this weekend, but I want to head down to that event at Englishtown this Saturday.
Yeah, because our next guest, who's actually on hold, they're going to be there with a couple cars.
Oh, yeah, we definitely got to go.
Yeah, we got to go to that.
Well, go ahead and get those guests on, brothers. And I'm going to my sister's surprise birthday party, and I'll holler at you guys later.
All right, man. Have a good night, Crunch. See you, buddy.
All right.
All righty. Let's get a...
Thanks for calling.
You're a mess, Tad.
Had to be said.
JJ.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
I guess congratulations are in order. We talked exactly about this the last time you were on, and lo and behold, it happened. So congrats.
Thank you. I mean, we're definitely not done yet. Just kind of scratching the surface, I think.
Well, that's when I read a little bit about it, I saw that there was more left in it, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, that's pretty good. Now, just if you could, for the listeners that are coming in right now, could you give them a little bit of background about what this car actually is and why it's unique?
Sure. It is an '06 STI. Prior to us being involved in the build, it was a completely stock engine, stock transmission STI, and this gentleman CJ from the Midwest has kind of been fielding the car for a couple of years and just kind of chipping away at his quarter mile times and kind of dialing the car in and getting it, where he wanted it. And it actually broke 9.7 with a completely stock long block. And we saw the value in being involved with him and knowing that the stock long block was about done. We ended up building him an engine and kind of helping him field the car along with Prime Motoring up in northern New Jersey. And it's we've been kind of going out and trying to chip away ourselves, and just broke 890 at 164 off the trailer, and obviously only got one pass. The car doesn't have all the required safety equipment quite yet, and we're working on that right now. So
I could imagine they weren't too happy if it made that kind of pass. And they're like, wait a minute, this is what? The street car, there's no cage, there's no nothing. Yeah, I could imagine that kind of ended the fun for the day.
It did. And, I think either Dimitri or Junior, I'm not sure exactly who filled out the tech card, but one of them must have dyslexia because they put 980, I think, as their quickest pass. So, when we, busted off an 890 right off the trailer, they weren't real happy.
Yeah, they were like, oops.
Now, did you make subsequent eighth mile passes after that?
We did. Yeah, we did. And, I think we picked up about 2/10 in the eighth from our first pass until the last pass of the day. So, I mean, there's definitely more in the car.
2/10 in the eighth?
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And this is a conventional Subaru speeder, right? No crazy trans, no nothing.
Regular 6-speed.
Stock suspension too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
My God.
And just, I know you said it's CJ's car, and CJ is a fantastic driver, but Junior was driving the car, right?
He was.
Yeah.
Junior is, nothing to sneeze at. He's a hell.
Oh no, I know that. I wasn't even insinuating that. I know Junior's a great driver, but Junior has told me that CJ's a machine, and for Junior to say that, it's pretty amazing. But I know Junior can drive. He can drive anything. Yep. But he just got in the car and went 890.
So this was first pass.
Yeah,
first time in the car.
Well,
no, not first.
Second time that we've taken the car out. I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit. Actually, the third time we've taken the car out. The first time we took it out after the build, first full pass I think was a 950, which wasn't bad considering the car had gone 970, and this is a completely new setup. And then the second time out we just had, which we talked about last time I was on, we just had all kinds of drivetrain issues, just broke axles and broke transfer gear and just annihilating drivetrain parts. Kind of put some beefier axles in this time and kind of refine the way that he's launching it. I think Junior did a hell of a job off the trailer, and honestly, he was able to get probably 6 or 7 eighth mile hits, and nothing broke. So clearly the stuff we have in there is working. But so the third time we took the car out, which is this past time, first pass off the trailer was an 890.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
That's insane.
And what's it weigh, JJ?
Actually, we haven't had it on the scales because we're putting a cage in it. I'll let you know in a couple days after we get the cage and the chute and all that stuff on.
But it is a regular full car, right? This isn't a gutted car or anything like that?
The only thing that has been taken out of this particular car is the AC compressor because we've rotated the intake, and power steering, and that's it. The only reason we actually took the power steering out is to kind of make the steering a little stiff so the car's a little more stable at 160 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It wasn't for any kind of weight or power or anything like that. But yeah, it still had, full interior and radio still in the car, and we haven't cut anything.
Power windows, the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yep.
And he's going to be calling in too. And I don't know if you're obviously welcome to stay on and you guys could chat together, but it should be exciting to have Junior on because he's pretty cool.
See, I mentioned on the post at one point that I thought the thing was going over 9,000 RPM. I didn't know it had the was an 07 transmission in it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do the math, I'm not sure. We can call Junior out on this when he gets on the phone. Actually, I've been meaning to kind of do that. He's telling me he's spinning like 8,600, but I think he's probably a little bit closer to maybe 8,750 or 8,800 by the time he gets to the end of the track. We're on a 27-inch tire, the 07 gear set, which is stock gear set, and I'm figuring about 8,750 or 8,800.
So it goes through in fourth gear and with the 07 trans?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, see, I did learn something because of our Factory 5 discussion about this 818. I asked Tad the other day, we were talking about it, like trying to figure out how we could make this better. Like this is kind of an outside of a car that, was pretty neat, and we could put a nice 800 or 900 horsepower in. How can we make this work?
Yeah.
So Tad had brought up the fact about this thing going through in fourth gear, but fourth gear isn't a direct. I mean, according to the ratios, it goes out at, what was it, Tad? Like 1 point something?
Yeah, the overdrive was...
Should be 1.038 if I remember correctly.
So are these transes like always driving through a jack shaft?
They are no. I mean, they're so... Yeah, there isn't a 1-to-1 anywhere. Like, none of the ratios are 1-to-1. I mean, there is an input shaft and obviously a counter shaft. But the counter shaft is the pinion and also drives the center diff.
Okay, gotcha. Right. Now I understand. All right, that makes a little more sense. Yeah,
the center diff, and for argument's sake, what you would call the transfer case is actually built onto the back of the transmission.
Okay.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to buy an 818 and do a collaboration between us and Manly and IAG to make the thing all-wheel drive.
What it should be.
What it should be. My buddy Jeff just told me, he's looked at it. He says you flip the motor around, you put a diff in it. He says it can be done.
I think there's things that could be done. But see, while we got you on the phone, how strong is the front differential? Like if you're going to try to run on one of them on its own. I mean, this is completely off the subject.
No, it's a good question.
We were talking about these, Factory 5 818s, which looked pretty neat at first brush. And then when you look a little further, you're like, oh, it's not exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, they're cool cars. We, I'd looked at them back whenever they debuted SEMA, maybe
3 years,
2012, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
It's neat. But it's square. It's a box channel frame. There's no real tube other than the hoops that are kind of behind you. So it's kind of cheesy. I don't know. It's not my thing.
Yeah, we were just thinking about something like insanely light, but you first look at it, they say you implant, you transplant all the Subaru parts into this. We're figuring all-wheel drive. Yeah. And then you find out that there's a lot more to the story than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically uses a spool in the rear in place of it uses a 5-speed tranny typically, and it uses a spool in place of the transfer or the center differential, and then it has an end plate that just caps off the back of the tranny, so there is no tail shaft. It just uses the front differential to actually drive the two axles.
Yeah, well, I called them, and you could actually use a 6-speed now, but there is a lot to be desired in that car. Although they, I don't know if they came out with a coupe version, and it's really a cool looking car.
Yeah, for $8 or $10 it is. I mean, but don't expect that you're going to buy it for $8 or $10 and finish it for another 5 or 6. I mean, you're gonna have $30,000 in it by the time it's all said and done.
Oh yeah, we said 20 something, but
yeah, I was figuring
you would know better.
Yeah, I was figuring 30 to 40 by the time you're done, because that's the other thing too from a car guy's perspective. They're like, oh, we can buy a junk Subaru and take all the parts off it. Well, you're going to put new stuff in any place that you wanted. Well, enough of the factory failure guys, because I'm really not happy with them. I was all excited, and then I kind of rain on my parade. So this particular car that we're speaking about utilized one of your closed deck blocks?
Yes, it did.
Nice.
We actually, and we haven't even posted pictures yet, but we actually did take it apart this week just to kind of see how the engine's holding up. And I got to be honest, I didn't even get a chance to call you today, Tom, to kind of fill you in, but we don't have to replace a single part inside the engine. I mean, everything is perfect. Rings, pistons, rods, the crank is straight. I mean, we expected at least maybe a bent pin here or there, but I mean, this thing is just perfect.
That's amazing.
Gasket sealed perfectly. we'll be posting pictures in the next couple of days just to kind of show people we do like to take apart, kind of newer stuff when we're beating the heck out of it.
Yeah. And that's up in
it's holding up.
And that's in the 1,000 wheel horsepower range, somewhere up there.
I would say he was probably just boost wise. He's probably in the 925 to 950. Junior could probably shed some light when he comes on.
Yeah.
But probably in the 925 to 950 range. The last time we had it out.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's more left in it.
Yeah.
And that's, geez.
Yep. I don't want to talk smack, but we have some goals in mind. So.
Yeah, I bet. So what else is going on at IAG? What do you got going on new since we last talked? Anything?
Honestly, been kind of engrossed in this whole drag racing bit. It's hasn't been our thing in the past, but we are trying to take it seriously at the end of the season, so we kind of know what to prepare ourselves for over the winter. For this event coming up next weekend, we'll definitely have CJ's car out. If we have enough time to get Junior's car, the safety equipment in Junior's car, we may bring his car out as well. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing now. We're working on the cage, and we got the chute mounted Saturday rather, and working on the cage now. So hopefully in the next couple of days we'll be putting his car back together and loading it on the trailer and heading up to Englishtown.
See, the parachute really blows your sleeper status.
Yeah, the parachute kind of negates that.
It sucks, but you know what?
Gotta have it.
Is going out and doing one pass and being told you got to wrap it up.
Yeah. No doubt.
It sucks, but not as much as having to wrap it up after one pass.
From that perspective, was there anything that you didn't meet the requirements for in 8th mile testing?
No, we were good there.
All right, yeah, because I don't even know, again, out of this loop enough to not know what they do and don't require.
Yeah.
So if the 8th mile side is really, that makes it.
I think it's a mile an hour thing.
Is it?
No, maybe not.
On the 8th or no?
Well, the chute used to be 150 years ago.
That's quarter. Is that also supplied to 8th?
Well, I would imagine if you're going 150, they don't really care where you're going, Tad, because it's someplace before the end of the quarter.
Oh, we could have Alan fill us in, but
you know what I mean. So I'd say, I guess I could understand. I was just wondering if there was anything that they could complain about in the 8th mile passes. But at least that worked out good. You got to be able to make sure that 60s could come to where you wanted them to be, and geez, picking up 2/10. Oof. Wow.
Well, that is 60. What was it? 60 foots, like 1.4 or
1464 on the 90 run.
That's still stock suspension and everything. So, and were the tires like dry? I don't remember if those are the dry rotted tires that they threw on there, or those are newer slicks.
They're newer slicks. They are still DOTs. They're not slicks actually.
All right.
I think they're ET Streets or something like that.
Did you say dry rotted?
Somebody with one of the older 9-second cars, they said they just threw on a set of tires laying around or something.
What was this, Facebook gossip or something?
Oh, Junior gossip.
It must be true on the internet, right, Ted?
Yeah, well, it's on the internet. It's got to be true.
All right, Pat.
Jesus. This is kind of what we deal with. A gentleman by the name of Jeff Chang, who I understand is a Subaru guy.
Yep.
Just wrote in that 630 in the 8th requires everything you would need at 999. So I did not know that.
Jeff would know. Jeff's the fastest. He's got the fastest Subaru on the West Coast, and he builds his own stuff. He's a good dude.
Now we have a call. Do we happen to know?
That's probably Junior.
It's probably Junior?
Yeah.
All right.
Probably.
Hang on a minute. JJ, let me see if I can bring Junior in. Is this Junior?
Hello.
What's up, Junior?
What's up, guys?
How are you?
JJ is also on with us. We
Hi, JJ.
So I guess first, before Tad, starts to lose his mind over here, I'd say congratulations because it's a hell of an accomplishment. And
thanks.
We had just talked about this with JJ. What was it? 2 weeks before?
Ago. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
About racing to get the car, sub 9-second range, and then bam, Tom called. They said, "Guess what? It happened." Yeah. So I know it's a hell of an accomplishment, especially with the requirements of what that car actually is, because that is pretty damn close to a full-on street car. It's got a regular trans.
Yeah, it is a full-on street car. So what are all your secrets, Junior?
Spill them.
Floor the gas, pull the gears, hope it goes into the gear.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice.
And hopefully it goes straight. That's the key. Make sure the car goes straight.
Wow.
Now, how much of a handful was that thing to drive at that kind of pass?
Wasn't even too bad, mainly because I've been beating the crap out of my 15 that runs similar times a lot, like probably taking it to the track 10 times in the last 2 months. So the seat time was there. It was just, I don't know, just hopped in and went.
Wow.
It wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, and from what we understand that you have driven the car before, but like this was the first pass, like right out of the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd actually never driven CJ's car ever in my life.
Oh, really? That was the first pass in that car?
Yeah, ever.
That's silly.
Wow. Well, it's a Subaru. They all feel the same.
CJ actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. CJ had actually come out for the first time we had taken the car out, and this is the first time Junior has driven the car.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I mean, I guess like if you always drove a Corvette or you always drove a Mustang, I guess when you go from one to another, as long as it's the platform you're used to, but still, I mean, to just not know the mannerisms or what to expect on a given car, that's damn.
Yeah, it's hopped in and went. I mean, the car's pretty easy to drive, honestly. Went straight, really one pass, it got out of the groove and took me to the middle of the track, but the car's pretty simple to drive and get it down the track straight.
Now, the question of the day, I don't know if you want to answer this, but between the two of you, how much do you really think is left in the car? Do you have a prediction, like where you think you'd land here after with a good pass?
I had a few eighths, so I would have put the car in the high 860, low 870 range. So I think the way the car sits, I'll be able to get 60s out of it, and then we could turn it up a little more and probably get some 50s out of the car.
That's crazy.
It's fast. I mean, I'm still playing around with, 1/460 foots. Like, once the suspension goes on the car and we dial it in a little better, 1.2s and low 1.3s is not, it's something that happens with those cars pretty easily. So they'll get the job done.
Wow.
There's still plenty left in the driving and, the short track. So I'm sure we'll get the job done.
Well, for people that don't know Junior, which is hardly anybody, but if there's like 3 people out there that don't know who he is, he's arguably one of the best tuners in this country, but he's got passes in. I don't know how many Subarus have you driven, man. I know you have records for the VF48, the VF43, the stock this, and I mean all kind of records. I mean you probably got 1,000 passes in Subaru stuff.
At least,
yeah,
the last 10 years.
Yeah, he's not many people don't know who this guy is. I'm just saying.
Okay. I mean, listen, Tad has talked about this guy for, I think, years. Yeah. I mean, as soon as Tad started with his Subaru endeavor.
I think Tad's got tears in his eyes right now.
He might.
I do.
He might. We were a little concerned about him making a mess in the studio, actually.
They're happy tears.
Sorry, I got a Subaru. I went to the top guy. I'm happy. So.
Tad's awesome.
See, there you go.
Oh,
there
man.
you go. I'll pat myself on the back now.
You just put him over. Okay, Tad's leaving the room now. He's going into the plastic room.
Known Tad for ever. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's a very unique individual. It's not somebody you very quickly forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a guy on chat, Andrew Temkin. I don't know who that is. It says, "Welp, it was nice talking to you guys. If this is Junior, I'm throwing my laptop out the window." Who is?
They know who he is.
Oh, okay. So it's like inside joke. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Junior, you could explain who it is. I'm sure if the guy's listening, he wants to hear you talk about him. Talk some shit about him.
Andrew's a really, really good friend of mine. He's a little dumb.
Oh shit.
Family though, so I can't really talk shit about him right now. If he was here though, I'd definitely talk shit.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, I know we got JJ for a while, but I know Junior. I know you're in the middle of tuning. You want to
currently on the dyno at PNL.
Yes, you are. You want to plug yourself? Not that you need any plugs, but you want to give out your phone number or anything? Not that you return phone calls either.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I suck at the phone. Really bad at that. But yeah, JRTuned.com and Prime Motoring, PNL Motorsports, and Shift Fast Motorsports are my mainstays. I travel to them at least once a month. Prime, I'm there every week. So, yeah, those are my shops.
Yep, and anybody listening, you can give him a call. If you want your shit done right, he's the man for sure.
Vehicles you tune other than Subaru? What other things do you do?
GTRs, Supras, stuff like that. Mainly imports.
Gotcha.
What's with that picture of you tuning a Corvette or whatever on your?
My buddy's ZR1. That thing's awesome too. The little HT tuners action on that. That car's actually pretty fun to drive.
Was it all stock?
He has the headers, everything but the cooling for the blower, which is like the worst thing you can do to that car.
Yep.
And new tires. He likes to live his life dangerously. So
Who doesn't?
And how much power did you make?
I think we're right around 620-ish with that car, 630.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because Hank Manley's got a ZR1, and we put a motor in it. It went pretty well.
Yeah, those things are fun.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so pretty much anything you need tuned, even if it was an HP tuners thing, you could handle it.
Yeah. Just in general, I've been doing it for like 15 years. So, yeah, I can handle most stuff, but I specialize mainly in the import stuff.
Okay. Any one favorite? I guess Subarus are
Subaru,
kind of
man.
on top of the list right now.
I love my Subarus. Fast GTRs
Hell yeah.
too, but my Subarus are the fun cars. The driver involvement and enjoyment you get out of the thing is second to none.
Now we actually have a caller calling in. You guys want to field a question if this is actually a question?
Oh God!
If not, we could just tell him to beat it. But hang on, let's bring the guy in, see if there's anything worthwhile.
Hope it's Al.
Hey, buddy, you're on the line. You got a question?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? I'm actually been in the Subaru game for a little bit. I've been following the build for a little while. I had a couple questions for Junior and JJ, just about like the authenticity of the horsepower numbers they're creating compared to like possibly a dyno jet, and how long the original motors have been in the car, and if the has been replaced since the first pass they brought the Echo at.
You want me to field that, Junior?
Knock yourself out.
So to answer your question regarding the horsepower, Junior probably be able to answer that better because the car was tuned at prime. But what I can tell you is 164 in the quarter definitely seems to hold water to about a 950 wheel horsepower car.
Well, I mean, there's a couple other guys right now running with like 800s, high 7s that are doing very similar times right now. That I'm calling out the build, the quality of the build is 100% there. I'm just curious of
Caller, if I
they're making.
can I interrupt you 1 second, caller?
Oh yeah, no.
You know the times that people run are one thing, but mile an hour cannot be cheated. And I'm sure JJ, when he calculated that, he calculated based on mile an hour, and you can't. That's a math problem. So you can have a better working car, a lighter car that can run 9.0, 9.9s with less power, but the mile an hour.
They're running similar times, and they're claiming less horsepower.
Yeah, but what mile an hour do they run?
I'm actually here right now, and that car makes 1,060 to the wheels, and it dropped 170 miles an hour yesterday. 170.
Yeah.
And it weighs 500 pounds, 600 pounds less than CJ's car.
Also, coming back to the authenticity of the true dyno numbers, everyone knows you can fudge dyno numbers around. Not saying that you guys did or anything. I'm just saying, like, for instance, like that first ACO pass, I feel like, the motor was pulled apart afterwards. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw IAG's machinist putting a video on Instagram of them redoing wrist pins. I could be incorrect, though.
No. Then I hadn't gotten to that answer that question yet. So we had talked earlier today about pulling that engine apart. We've actually pulled that engine apart twice now. We did pull it apart after ATCO originally because that was the first outing the car had, and everything inside the engine was 100% perfect with the exception of the wrist pins. The pins actually were slightly tweaked, but to be honest with you, that was our fault. When I had ordered the parts, I'd ordered a standard 170 wall pin, and we should have done the 210 wall pins, and that's what's in the car now, and that's exactly why we pulled it apart a second time to make sure that everything was good, and the pins that came out of the car this time were perfect. But the original crank, original rods, original pistons, original rings, original block, all the stuff that was originally in the car when we put the car together this season is what's still in the car.
All right. I kind of had to drop the guy because I know Junior's got to go. I will say this as a guy who's been around dynos for a very long time. You worry about your dyno and the dyno you're using. It's your yardstick. You know if you made this today and you handle your corrections right and you monitor your temperature and your pressures and your weather conditions to always get back to baseline, All it means, it doesn't matter if you're talking about horsepower, cow power, pig power, whatever it's going to be. If you made more today than you did yesterday and your results are repeatable, that's all that matters.
Yep.
And that mile per hour that, it went, that is kind of accepted. And like Tom said, you take an NHRA Superstock car, they'll out, that calculator keeps getting redefined.
Yeah, because they'll out ET anything, and the mile an hour doesn't show up. But mile an hour, mile an hour horsepower is like a time to speed dyno, like an inertial dyno. You can't cheat it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right, and like you said, the dyno really is just a tuning tool.
Yep.
It doesn't really make a difference what the number is, as long as you're headed the right direction and that you have a datum to start with.
Absolutely.
All right, Junior. Sorry, JJ. Sorry, Junior. You got to go.
Care about what runs.
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're still good? All right. I thought you had to go.
Well, then just hang in.
Yeah, they're getting the car in the dyno right now. So.
Well, then talk about more stuff.
I wanted to point out the whole P&L thing, like the kid brought up. That car, in fact, makes 1,060 wheel horsepower. I tuned it myself, and the car trapped 170 yesterday, weighing 600 less pounds than CJ's car. So.
Well, is there some kind of look, I always take from the engine side of things, and whether it's right or wrong, you kind of, I don't want to know, say gravitate towards what you're used to using. I used a Superflow. That's what I used.
Yep.
I knew that if a guy had a decent working dyno room, had a properly dead-weighted dyno, and did his weather station stuff within reason, whatever my motor said here, we could take it to the guy's shop, and it would be within 0.5%. It was that good, as long as the rooms were compatible and everything was good.
Yep.
So are people are they using a benchmark dyno from is this an internal dyno wars thing that the guy would even ask those questions? I mean, because the mile per hour really does speak for itself. That's all that matters.
Well, the problem is there's a lot of local dynos, Mustang dynos, that they'll show a 700-800 horsepower car and the thing will barely trap 130 miles an hour. So everyone's always calling out the Mustang dyno owners, just because they actually can be easily manipulated to read high or low. I mean, the joke's on the user themselves that they're doing that on the dyno.
Right.
That's not a game we like to play, which is why it was so important for us to back up that number with a mile an hour, which I think we did pretty good with.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. And I don't know if that guy, and that is the risk you run when you put somebody in. You don't know if the guy's going to ask a good question, bad question, or a controversial question. As far as I'm concerned, from my side of it, the thing went as fast as it went. That's kind of I don't care whose dyno it was on. Doesn't matter to me.
Don't matter.
right? Dyno number doesn't mean anything anymore at that point.
No. And the dyno number is what you usually look at after it passes on the track to know how close you are to where you think you should be, because everybody knows the type of dyno they use. You know how good you can. Once in a while, you can surprise yourself, but it gives you a target. It gives you an endpoint.
Yep, no doubt.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Really all it is. I put a car in the dyno, I looked at the graph, I looked at the number, and since I don't mess with the actual number, I know more or less what it's going to run at the track. It's simple as that. And a lot of these guys don't really see that nowadays. You have 400 horsepower stock turbo cars, which is unheard of on a Mustang dyno, but people somehow manage to do it, then go to the track and they trap 108 with it.
Right.
Trapping in the 120s at that point.
Yeah. And the guys that cheat the dynos think they're doing something because they put a piece of paper up that says 400, and everybody that knows, everybody knows.
yeah, you're kind of kidding yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that, and don't get me wrong, the opposite does hold true. I think JJ and I discussed this last time, that sometimes you give somebody something and you want it to live up to its potential, and there's so many other outside factors to keep the thing from living up to its potential. And then those are usually the guys that'll say something like, "Oh, your dyno's no good."
Yeah.
Well, no, your car kind of sucks.
Exactly.
Or the driving.
Or either one.
Yep. You definitely have to get all the all the stars to align, and I think that we're headed down that path. I think that's kind of the point, is that we have a recipe that seems to work pretty well.
Now,
And that,
go ahead. I'm sorry, JJ. Go ahead. Continue.
no, I was just going to say that, and that does matter, like you just kind of talked about. You can have one part that doesn't kind of mesh well. And I'm sure Junior can tell you this. One part that doesn't mesh well, and all of a sudden, even though it's all the same other parts, the car makes 60 or 70 horsepower less.
Yep.
Well, you guys did it right. You put a really good team together. You made a lot of really good choices, and it proves out at the track. It really does.
I have a question on the wrist pins. Were the things in that the caller was talking about? They were 170 wall. Are they like a taper wall pin? I mean, how are
no? It's a straight wall.
They're a straight wall pin.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So
yeah, they're a straight wall standard pin. They're the same pins that really are used in all of the off the shelf pistons. I mean, honestly, like I said, the error was ours. I can't blame anybody but ourselves. We should have ordered the extreme pins and we didn't. But frankly, we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, this is all the reason that we are very much the reason I kind of take a little bit of offense to the phone call is that I'm very, very open and honest about everything. You can ask me a question, I'm going to give you the straight answer. The reason that we take we've taken the engine apart twice is because we want to know what's happening inside that engine, because I'd rather deal with it in a controlled environment right now, not at the track, not when we're relying on the car to actually make the passes, on the weekend. That's why we've taken it apart twice.
And I could vouch for that, because that's why we use IAG and JJ for R&D, because that's the kind of guy we need. We needed somebody with that kind of, work ethic and, the honesty that we require to show the R&D that we do, produces.
Absolutely. I mean, we learned stuff using, your pistons and rods, from Manley. Yep. And we learned that like the 2-barrel pins, without knowing it, they just were getting a little beat up in what we did. And it's not because the pin was bad, but it was a wrong application. And after you make a bunch of passes on it, and then you take a look and you're like, oh, we're going to have to go up one notch. But I mean, like you said, look, that guy, I don't know, couldn't tell you if the guy was trying to start trouble or he was just looking for an answer that he had a question, or like, oh, did you have a wrist pin problem? I'll tell you, like it's some conspiracy. Look, anybody with half a brain certainly understands that you take a look at what you got so you don't turn it into a box of parts. You know what I mean? Especially after something like that.
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide. If you want to call me and ask me, what any engine that we pulled apart looks like, I give you the straight answer.
Yeah.
We can all benefit. And the thing is, when we pulled that engine apart, I was actually excited to find something bent, because the reality is we learn from it. You don't learn from stuff when you take it apart.
Oh, oops. Junior, you still here?
I'm here.
All right. We just lost JJ, so you got to finish the sentence for him.
Quick, hurry up.
I'm kidding. Oh, damn.
Yeah, it just stopped me, and he's still connected. He might even be able to hear us. I don't know what happened. It just dropped.
Yeah.
And I'll bring a little thing. The Jeff guy again, Jeff Chan, wrote, and I am the test mule to find out how to break stuff.
He really is. He's our West Coast guy, but I say that West Coast. He's been testing our stuff for a long time, and he does pound it, and he goes fast. And I'll tell you one thing. Well, we talked about him before. He does all his own stuff, builds his own car, and he's pretty impressive. Him and Junior go back and forth, arguing a little bit.
I just mess with him.
I know.
He's always talking shit.
I know.
All right, we got JJ back. What happened, buddy? All of a sudden you were gone.
Not really sure. I could still hear you guys.
Yeah, no, it's wonders of telecommunications. Yeah, I hear
you. Oh.
So anyway, that was a time for crickets.
Yeah. A little bit of uncomfortable side. Well, because I didn't know if everybody was done talking. Because see, what people don't know when they listen from the outside, there are uncomfortable delays that will occur, like when you've got two phone callers coming in and going through the processing. So it is a little bit of a balance act.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, Junior, you got anything else?
Oh, I'm good to go.
Well, we really appreciate you calling in. And I know Tad. I know Tad does.
Well, yeah.
Tad, do you want to say anything to Junior?
Yeah, Junior. One day, try to explain to Tom how the 2-liters are so much better to drive around with on the street.
I can't do that. Until a 2-liter goes fast.
Ah, come on. Well, you had that one that did low 10s, didn't you? EJ 207.
Yeah, but so what? We're going to the A's. We're running to the 8th, but that car's running almost to the top of the track. So when that starts happening with the 2-liter, we'll go down that road again.
Well, let me put it this way. Then tune it right, man.
Oh, God, Tad.
Do it.
You know, see what happened is you came on and Tad just went to pieces.
Yeah, he lost it.
He's like a little schoolgirl, like giggling over there, and he's making, he's a mess. But all right, Junior, thank you so much for calling, buddy. And
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, tell Paul I said hello.
I will.
And I mean, all of us, I think for the most part, as far as I know, everybody's going to go, well, if you're going to be at Englishtown, we'll see you down there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. See you guys there.
All right,
man.
see you, Junior.
Thanks, Junior.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for calling.
Oh, Jesus, Ted. JJ, you still there?
I am.
Yeah. No, he's an interesting individual, no doubt.
He's a good guy, and when you meet him in person, he's hard not to like. He really is.
Then you'll see the real Junior.
And so is JJ.
Yeah.
JJ is impossible not to like.
Now, JJ, are you actually going to come up for the Englishtown event yourself too?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Awesome.
We
All right.
we try to make it out as much as we can to make sure we're supporting the guys.
So I guess business is still booming for you. I did see, I saw an email, not an email, a post from Rick where he was talking about his Outlook posts. I mean, his Outlook emails, and it's like short block, stage 5, close deck, like it's out of control.
Great problem to have.
Yeah.
Yep. You're missing the sponsorship.
Well, no, dude, you know what? I wish I could feel for you, but you know I can't, because I would bet we get more than you do still.
We just talked about that.
Yeah. Did we? I'm sure you could give away everything you make, and I know we could.
Yep.
But
Well, I like how he's doing the solid deck and stuff, because I used to follow that stuff. They were doing that down in Australia, and then it just fizzled out. And now he brought it back into play, you know?
Yep, and they did it right.
Well, yeah.
You're still a little tongue-tied, ain't you, Ted?
No, it's just I'm thinking of all this stuff. It dropped out.
Just coming down from that high, right?
Yeah,
JJ.
Junior mentioned my name.
JJ, sorry about that, man. You know, there's a little issue here going on with him and Junior.
A little bit of a man crush.
Little bromance.
Yeah.
He's no Adam Carolla, but hey.
Yeah. All right. Well, JJ, plug everything you got going on right now, and definitely everybody listening. If you're in this area or you're willing to travel, Englishtown, everybody will be there, and I'd like to see everybody come out there.
Yeah, and if for some reason you can't make it to Englishtown, we will be at World Cup Finals at MIR, which is in outside of Waldorf, Maryland. Great track, awesome facility. We should definitely, if we don't set some records in Englishtown, we should definitely set some records down there.
All right. And how can everybody reach out to you directly if they're trying to get in touch with you guys?
Sure. www.facebook.com/IAG Performance. Or www.iagperformance.com.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks again, JJ. It's always a pleasure, and it was nice that this kind of continued. We talked about where you were looking to get to, and you guys got there. That's awesome.
Pretty excited about it.
And we'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
See you, buddy.
See you.
Bye-bye. I got to tell you, man, think about that.
In
the 8s.
I know.
With a car you actually have to shift and drive, and you could
drive it in the snow if you wanted to.
Well, you just have to change the tires.
That really makes a Corvette guy just,
crazy.
His ass just shrivel up. It's just
well, dude. Think about that car. I mean, you've seen the picture. You posted it, and think about it without any stickers, driving next to you on the highway.
Oh yeah,
and then just eating your lunch.
Yeah,
and I mean, you couldn't push on the gas pedal hard enough, you'd break your knee.
That's one of those things that, like, you leave with the guy and you watch him drive away and you just push the clutch and quick shift over to 4th and then 5th and then 6th and be like, I don't know what just happened. I wasn't racing this guy.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding.
Yeah.
See, I like the fact that they're doing it on the stock trans.
Yeah.
Without, because I'm used to the 5-speeds all shattering and all that crap.
I like the fact that Junior told you you're retarded for talking about a 2-liter.
Shut it.
Well, it does say something about, the design and what Subaru put into this, because so many things that if you start to push them, you don't get anywhere near these kinds of improvements.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been in the import world for too long, but Subaru is like a cult. Because the platform is not as good as other stuff out there. I mean, the Mitsubishi stuff, it's crazy the power you can make on them and they never blow up. Hondas, forget about it. Stock crank, 1.8 Hondas make 1,000 horsepower.
Are you talking about it from the engine perspective?
Yeah, from the engine perspective. The platform itself.
Oh, like what we talked about with JJ as far as
they've done miraculous things with that block. They pin the mains, they solid deck the top. It's a work of art by the time they get done, and they've done it all right. And the reasoning is people just love those cars. It's weird. I can't explain. I don't even know how to start to explain it, but people do it.
Well, to me, it's a little bit like the Grand National thing that nobody expected these things to be what they were.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden these things are ripping around and you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, but it's just way bigger. I mean, shit, I got one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was going to drive it today just in
Lies.
No, I was going to drive it here, but I just got the map to shut off to kill the rev limiter, and I haven't done it yet. So.
Okay. Now, I will say this while we're on a Subaru show before we go to get out of here. Do you remember the conversation about Tad has a Subaru in a parking lot somewhere and it wasn't really defined?
Yes.
Well, apparently the condo association where he just dumped his Subaru off apparently got in touch with him.
Yes.
And said, you must remove your vehicle.
It's been here for 2 years. It's not registered nor inspected.
Which one is it?
What do you mean, which one is it?
You
the one I have.
You still have the WRX?
Yeah.
Well, didn't you have some kind of wacky, like Baja or Brat or something?
No, he had one of those older things that SVX. I think before anybody talked about Subarus.
SVX.
Yeah, ugly.
That thing was comfortable.
It's like buying a Pontiac Aztec.
No.
Do you remember how ugly those cars were? God damn.
So for all the Facebookers and people that follow, we will have some pictures of Tad's car, which undoubtedly, because he's going to bring it here to reside for a little while.
Oh, cool.
And so, feel free to give suggestions with shoe polish graffiti you'd like to see written on Tad's car. So, I mean, are you ever going to work on this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the holdup?
It's sitting in a parking lot.
I understand that, Tad. But
I think everybody knows that now.
Yeah, including the association where it's sitting there. But how come? I mean, when are you gonna? Did you have a plan to work on it, or was this just like moving the moss away so the stone can roll?
The debatable thing is, do I want to jump to a 2.5? I mean, the 2-liter zone.
Right back to that. Oh, Jesus Christ!
He wants to talk about. I got a JDM version 8. He needs all those
version 8.
Letters and numbers.
They suck. They got cast pistols.
Well, here's the bottom line. The moral of the story tonight is that if you know that you're going to build a Subaru, you need to get a block from JJ. From JJ. I don't know if I could ever hook you up, but there might be a guy that could help you pick out the right manly parts in this area.
Maybe.
And I will be more than sure to drive it for you because I know you ain't got a prayer in hell.
Yeah,
True.
Right. You have no idea.
And obviously, once it's all done and wrapped up, Junior's got to tune it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a given. Who do you think tuned it before?
I know. I know that.
Is that when your whole man crush started?
He's the bomb, man.
No, but I mean, is that like how you met the guy through the Subaru side of things? That's
of course. What? No.
Okay. Settle down.
It's okay, man. We're sorry he had to go.
I'm sure if you call him, he'll be glad to answer the phone for you.
Yeah.
And I guess the really sad part about this is, Tad, is you couldn't get his autograph over the airwaves.
Why?
You can't do a digital autograph yet. Huh?
No, you can't.
That's where that's going to make us millionaires.
Hey, well, let me put it this way. He's driven my car, so.
Great.
Poor Tad. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope the Subaru episode was exciting and entertaining for you guys. Give us a shot next week, Monday night.
And like us on Facebook.
Like a Facebook page.
Jesus Christ.
Say goodnight, Tad.